Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Olivia Blackford, and welcome to today's episode where we explore a topic that is incredibly important yet often misunderstood: the resiliency of military connected children. Military kids grow up in an environment shaped by constant change, frequent relocations, long periods of parental separation, and the emotional uncertainty that surrounds deployment. And although these children don't choose this lifestyle, it shapes nearly every part of their development. One of my favorite military influencers, former Marine veteran, and military spouse Hannah Romer, often reminds us that military children don't ask to be born into this life. And she's absolutely right. But despite the challenges, many of these kids show incredible strength, adaptability, and resilience. Today, I'm going to walk you through what the research tells us. Throughout this episode, I'll highlight several key studies by Hubner and colleagues, Paley, Lester, Sullivan, DePedro, and others. Researchers who have helped us understand not just the struggles, but also the protective factors that help military kids thrive. So let's dive in. Let's start with one of the most prominent and well documented stressors: deployment. When a parent deploys, military children, especially adolescents, face a unique emotional burden. In a study by Humner and colleagues, teens described intense feelings during deployment, including fear, confusion, sadness, isolation, and overwhelming uncertainty about their parents' safety. Many said they didn't know if or when they would see their parents again. This emotional strain reflects what researchers call ambiguous loss, a term developed by Pauline Boss. It refers to a situation where someone is physically absent but still psychologically present. That perfectly describes a deployed parent, gone from home but constantly on the child's mind. As Hubner's research found, this uncertainty can cause shifts in behavior, mood, and sense of security. Deployment also disrupts daily routines. Many children lose a parent who normally helps with homework, attends events, or provides structure at home. This shift can contribute to instability and emotional strain. Deployment stress is real, it's heavy, and affects children across all developmental stages, but especially adolescents who are already navigating identity, independence, and peer relationships. Now let's move into what happens after deployment, an equally complex and emotionally charged time. While reintegration can be exciting, the return home often brings new stressors. Research from Creech and colleagues show that parents experiencing PTSD may interact differently with their children, sometimes becoming more irritable, more withdrawn, or less emotionally available. Children who may not understand trauma sometimes respond by distancing themselves or becoming fearful. Haley and colleagues explain that trauma symptoms can make it difficult for a parent to participate in normal family routines or tolerate typical household stress. This complicates reintegration and can leave children unsure how to reconnect with the parent they've missed for months. And this doesn't affect all families the same way. Sullivan and her team found that families with fewer protective factors, such as strong relationships, stable routines, or even community support, have significantly higher rates of child mental health diagnosis. In other words, the home environment and support systems play a major role in how well children adjust. Let's talk about relocation, the stressor the public knows about but doesn't fully understand. Military children move constantly. According to DePedro and colleagues, many move every 2 to 3 years, and some switch schools up to 9 times before graduating high school. Imagine being 12 years old, just making friends, settling into a new routine, and then being told it's time to pack everything up and start over again. This instability affects academics, friendships, identity. Some students can even struggle to graduate on time because different states have different requirements. A problem the military is still working to fix through interstate agreements. But here's what the research also gives us hope. DePedro and Astor both found that school climates make a huge difference. Supportive teachers, caring peers, and a sense of belonging buffer the impacts of frequent transitions. Schools that understand military connected students and actively welcome them create environments where these kids are more likely to adjust well, emotionally and academically. And here's the most powerful finding: Positive school climates are associated with lower levels of depression and suicidal ideation among military youth. Supportive schools can literally save lives. Resilience isn't something children have or don't have, it's shaped by their environments. Saltzman and colleagues found that before receiving support, many military families experience significant emotional distress between both parents and children. But resilience building programs can make a major difference. One of the most successful is Focus, Families Overcoming Under Stress. This program teaches families communication skills, emotional regulation, problem solving, and collaborative goal setting. Research from Saltzman and Lester show that families who participate often experience reductions in child emotional difficulties and improvements in parent mental health. It's not magic, it's intentional family support. Resilience is built through consistent routines, open communication, strong emotional bonds, supportive school environments, and access to community and military resources. These components help military children adapt, thrive, despite the challenges they may face. And even though we've learned a lot, there are still some gaps. OPI's 2024 review found that almost no recent studies address academic outcomes, even though mobility directly affects schooling. DePedro reminded us that many studies use smaller specialized samples, making it hard to generalize findings across all military families. And research on ambiguous loss tends to focus on older youth, so we don't fully understand how younger children can process these deployments. These gaps matter because understanding them helps guide future support efforts. Military connected children face a unique, demanding, unpredictable lifestyle, one they never chose, but through strong family systems, supportive schools, and well designed programs like Focus, resilience becomes possible. As Hannah Romer said, military children don't ask to be born into this life, but they carry it with incredible strength. If we want to serve these families well, we need to recognize their challenges, strengthen their support networks, and continue researching what helps them thrive. Thank you for joining me for this conversation about resilience in military children. I hope this episode brings more understanding, awareness, and compassion for the young people who grow up serving alongside their families.